Thank you.
Call this Cocalico Township Supervisor meeting for October 17th to order. Please rise and pledge allegiance to the flag. I
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Just please silence your cell phones. We will have a demonstration of Verizon representative about the iPads. Your name, please.
My name is Jason Smith. I'm one of the lieutenants with Greenstown Fire Company.
Thank you.
Absolutely. So I'm here to talk about the iPads that were implemented within the 3 fire companies, the ones that were provided by the township. We're basically using the iPads for 4 primary functions: response management, pre-planning, as a reference tool, and to assist with equipment maintenance. Regarding response management, one of the applications we're using right now is Active 911 within some fire companies. Active 911 is an application downloaded onto the members' telephones, and when a call comes in, we all get alerts about that, not only on our pagers, but in the app itself. Members can then check up on the app whether they're responding, unavailable, or if they're delayed or not. When we respond to the station, we can check on the iPads and the fire apparatus and see exactly how many people are coming to the station. We can also see on the map where the members are in relation to the station. That tells us a little bit about whether we should wait a couple extra seconds for that other person, or if they're still a mile out, obviously we're going to roll and they can come out on a later piece. One of the other things we're utilizing the iPads for right now is to access the County 911's webcam. We're able to see comments taken by the 911 call receivers. And those comments are usually transmitted over the radio as well, but not always. We're also able to see them on our time frames rather than just that one time the dispatch alerts us. Additionally, we're also able to see the response status of any other apparatus that's coming with us. So if we have Denver or Reinhold coming out with us, we're able to see where those apparatus are as well, whether they've made their response or not. In addition, we have Apple Maps and of course Google Maps we've added on as well. This helps out with GPS navigation, and additionally can provide a satellite overview of a scene. That's helpful for planning apparatus placement, and also lets us see potential hazards that we may not be able to see from ground level, such as large air conditioning units, potential chemical storage on the roof, things like that. We're also using the iPads for pre-planning. Active 911 has a pretty robust pre-planning feature. We're able to mark GPS coordinates on the map, and then we're able to add icons with different colors to identify different reference points. All of the blue icons that you see on the map there are fire hydrants. We're able to see the fire hydrants, where they're at. We can tap on one to see what its flow rate is. Additionally, we can mark different buildings and upload our own pre-planned documents into that. That can be anything from floor plans, utility shutoffs, a list of hazardous chemicals that might be on site. Emergency reporting is another platform that some of the fire companies are using for pre-planning. Emergency reporting is a web-based application. It's a whole suite of tools for fire companies. The pre-planning function is just one part of that. That's a database where we can enter a building's construction, what its general occupancy is, how many people we might expect to be in there at a given time. There are tools in there that can allow us to calculate how much water to apply for if the structure's on fire, and things like that. We're also using the iPads as a reference tool. In regards to hazmat incidents, we're using applications such as Wiser and the DOT Emergency Response Guide. Both of those tools help us to identify chemical products via their name or the UN identification number, which is that 4-digit number you'll find on a placard of, let's say, a tractor trailer going down the road. These tools, once we've identified the product, also give us a reference for protective actions we need to take, protective distances we need to set up, what measures we need to take for what we need to wear, and can help to guide us with mitigation of those incidents. Regarding rescue, some of the tools we have available are the CMC Field Guide, and we are just starting to experiment with the Mototech crash recovery system. The CMC field guide is a reference for rope rescue. That's considered a high hazard, low occurrence incident, basically meaning it doesn't happen very often, but when it does, it's a very risky operation. And while we train on setting up a lot of rope rescue rigging systems, that's one of the things you want to make sure you get right off the bat. And so having a digital guide for us to figure out how to set up haul systems, lowering systems, and some of those complex rescue systems is very helpful for us. Regarding the crash recovery system, that's a database of passenger vehicles on the road, and that provides us with a reference for where key components are. Batteries, fuel tanks, airbags, in electrical vehicles where the high voltage systems are in them, and like I said, areas of concern, areas of hazard for us. Transportation is another area that we're looking at. We have the rail line that passes through East Cocalico Township. We're evaluating an application called Ask Rail. And what that does is allows us to put in the identification number on a rail car, and we can see in real time what's on that rail car, whether it's hazardous or not, and if it is hazardous, exactly what the chemical is, and it automatically routes us to the ERG guidebook so we can see what protective actions to take. Stevens, with their landing zone, is utilizing Flight Radar 24. When they get called out for a landing zone, they're able to pull that map up and actually see where the helicopter is in real time. And that's allowing them to figure out how long it's going to take for the helicopter to get to the landing zone and give them an estimate so they know how much time they have to set up the LZ. Equipment maintenance is something that happens on a routine basis at every fire company. We have traditionally used paper checklists to mark off equipment, or for our equipment maintenance checks, and then we have to have some sort of a tracker for any equipment issues we find. Some companies are experimenting with the checklist function of emergency reporting. They're able to digitize their checklist, take an iPad around with them, and mark things off in real time on the electronic checklist, and set up their maintenance tracking in there. Some of us are still using the paper checklist, but then tracking maintenance issues in Microsoft Excel. Two different ways to do it there. Either way, the iPads allow us to take care of all of this stuff on the apparatus bay floor, rather than having to bounce back and forth to a desktop computer in office. Now, the ambulance also received an iPad from the township, and they're primarily using their iPad for initial charting functions, as well as scene documentation. Historically, as the EMS providers are working with a patient, they're making notes about patient demographics and vital signs on a piece of scrap paper or a glove, or basically whatever was handy for them. What they're able to do now with the iPad is they can actually log into their patient care report while working with the patient and document that stuff immediately in their patient care report, which is eliminating paperwork and also reducing our potential HIPAA risks. For scene documentation, on a trauma call, oftentimes providers will take a picture of an accident scene. And they'll do that to go back to the emergency room, and they can show the physicians in the ER what the scene looked like. And that's going to help guide the physicians as far as potential hidden injuries and things like that. They're now able to do that with the company-issued iPad, which again reduces any type of potential HIPAA liabilities. It's on an agency-controlled device that's happening. One of the things we're experimenting with is management of the iPads. Obviously, we have these devices out there, and we're looking for a way to manage them. We're working with a program called Jamf Now, which is a web-based central management platform. What we're able to do with that is we can apply user access restrictions to prevent any unauthorized uses of the iPad. We're able to push out applications to all of the iPads with a single mouse click. And in the event that an iPad becomes lost or potentially stolen, we're able to put that iPad into lost mode, or if worse comes to worse, we can actually remotely wipe it to prevent any type of a data loss. Everything that you've seen here has been available to us for a long time on the laptops. However, the iPads have tremendous benefits over the laptops we were using previously, both operationally and administratively. On the operations side, they're just much more reliable. You press a button, the iPad's instantly ready to go. They're far more portable. We had an inside investigation at Reamstown just a few weeks ago. We were able to take the iPad into the resident's house, show them the references that we were looking at, and help brought peace of mind to the resident we were working with there, which is something we wouldn't have been able to do with the laptops. And again, they're just easier to use. There's very little learning curve half the people out there use an iPhone anyway, and those who are using Android, it's a relatively easy crossover for them. Administratively, as you saw with the Jamf Now platform, they're much easier to manage. With laptops, conventionally, you would have to go laptop to laptop to laptop for things like software installs and operating system updates. Again, we're able to do that with single clicks now. The iPads are much more secure. We're able to track them. We're able to put them into that loss mode. And they're overall less expensive to operate. There's less hardware to fail on them. And with operating systems, iOS upgrades are free, whereas Windows upgrades are paying per license per laptop. So each fire company is using a handful of the tools we've seen here. Some fire companies are experimenting with it. We may end up not using some of them at all. This is still very early on for us. We're trying to figure out how best to implement them, and the companies are working on figuring out what's going to work best for the individual stations. So with that, does anyone have any questions at all?
I have a question in terms of one of our fire companies represented here. How far along are you guys in implementing and using the iPads right now in terms of, are you using it fully? You guys just setting them up? Where are you in that process?
Well, I can speak for Reams. Yeah, absolutely. So the iPads are installed on all of our apparatus. The ambulance is using it exactly how you saw presented there. We are actively using Active 911 as both a pre-planning tool and response management.
Okay.
And again, with the webcam comments there for dispatch. And we're evaluating some of those rescue tools. The hazmat references are on there available for us at any time.
Okay.
As far as Stevens, I know they're working primarily with the emergency reporting program, and Chief Weaver can probably speak a little bit more.
Yeah, we bought the whole emergency reporting fire package, which he gave you a picture there of. That has complete fire reporting on it, occupancy, which that's our pre-planning. There's a section in there for training and some other things. I think there's 15 modules in that. We're very early on into that. But it is implemented on all our iPads. Our iPads are all mounted in the trucks also. We use them on every call. We do use the Active 911 feature. We've had that probably for about 8 or 9 months now. I think Reamstown had it for a while. We waited to see how their reaction was till we got involved with that. There is a fee for that. I think it's $12 a person per year or something like that for that service. And we also do the ER books and some of the other things that were on there. The JMF platform that he had talked about, he actually just showed me the other week, so I'm in the process of trying to get that installed now. I think that's going to be a very good add-on for that. So we're probably about equal to Reamstown, just in a different set of software that we're working with.
Okay. And Reamstown?
We have the Active 911 on, the ERG books and some of that stuff. We're a little further behind because we don't have, I don't want to say the computer geeks at our station as the other stations do. So, but we're slowly catching up as we go. And it's kind of good to let them guys get some stuff done, and then if there are any hiccups, then we know kind of wait for them to get the bugs out, more or less.
So a general question for all of you then, in terms of moving to the iPads, excellent move, kind of average, or it didn't matter?
Excellent.
Excellent.
For us, it was an excellent move.
We've had to.
Okay, good.
We had our.
So it was a good investment.
Yeah.
We've had our laptops in our trucks. We didn't use them for a while, and now you can see it's getting used. The laptop or the iPads are getting used a lot more.
Okay. Great. Okay. Thank you.
All right, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Adoption of the past meeting minutes for October 3rd. Any additions or corrections to those minutes as presented?
I make a motion to accept the minutes as presented.
And I'll second that.
Any comments or questions? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Motion carried. Thank you all. Chief Captain.
Good evening. I emailed the report. Calls for service are 508 down a little bit, but that's the trend that we usually see this time of year. 9 reportable crashes, 7 with injuries. I'm sorry, those were reportable crashes, and we had 12 non-reportable crashes, 19 citations, 5 warnings, and 4 parking tickets, 6 DUIs, and 2 of those were accidents. So busy as normal and as usual, nothing outstanding. We did quite a few community service type things. I attended Denver Days, Discover Denver Day on this past Saturday. Corporal Savage was up at Al Service Center's Trunk or Treat show. We assisted most of the schools within the district, from the high school, middle school, Williamstown Elementary, with their evacuation drills, which is normal for this time of year. They like to do it before the weather changes. They all went very flawlessly. The school is amazing in how they take care of things. The staff, they know exactly what to do, and the students pay attention and listen. So that went very well. We qualified, excuse me, for the second part of the year. Now the only thing we have to do is the low light qualifications, which we'll take care of in the very near future. I attended the Lancaster County Chiefs of Police meeting on Wednesday, and I think we're going to try to have as many people there at the October 29th Lancaster County Commissioners meeting to express our concerns over the drug task force. So I think the township leader or managers, borough managers are also planning to attend. So I think it'll be well attended, and hopefully they can resolve any issues pretty quick and move forward. I'm happy to say that we received a $1,500 donation from Dentech. We have received that the last couple of years, and that money was used to purchase equipment for the department. And I have the thank you letter on my desk, and I'll sign it and deliver it to them next week. It helps. I mean, it very much helps when we get businesses that do that.
Yeah, we should send that. I think the township should.
Yeah, we should send
And the final thing I have is November is right around the corner, so we will be participating again this year in the Beards for Brothers, where we will allow the officers to grow beards for, I think it's $25. If they shave early, then they have to pay an additional $10 or something along those lines. Money's donated to a very worthy cause, either an individual or an organization in regards to cancer. So we're going to be doing that again this year, so sometime in November you will probably see our guys with beards, which is unusual, but you'll see me with beard. So it raised, I know, the last number of years, I think since it started, like $40,000, so it's a good cause, and good. They like doing it, so you will see us differently in November. That's all I have.
Any questions of the chief? Thank you.
Thanks, Chief.
Zoning officer, Tony.
Yes, good evening, everybody. You should have a copy of my report. Another busy month in the zoning office. We had 28 new applications, 30 permits issued, 13 in review, 18 for pickup. 2 more new single-family dwelling units were permitted in the month. 19 certificates of occupancy were issued. False alarms were down. We had 6. As far as zoning hearing board, I have no new cases scheduled for October and November, possibly 1 or 2 in December. Skipping down through the code enforcement, there's just a couple of things I want to highlight. Mr. Fry and myself met with a representative from Bendison Corporation out at 283 North Reading Road. Most people are familiar with the property. We have a ranch-style home on that property that is blighted and has been a problem. I know our police department has been out there over the years for several issues. We explained to them what needs to be done, and they are in the process of getting a contractor to remove that from the site. They need to grade it, seed it, stabilize it, make it look good. And they're in agreement with that, so we'll be hearing from them shortly with the contractor, and they'll get the appropriate permitting in place. We did have one incident at 29 Oak Lane that was alerted to it by a neighbor. With all the storm water and everything in the heavy storms, there was a very large tree that fell across the creek, And most people are familiar with where that creek crosses 272. And it was blocking quite a bit of the flow there. I'm happy to say the homeowner was at odds what to do, but I helped them through it. They've got a contractor, and as we speak, I believe it's gone. They did remove that. We did have in my last meeting, I reported very briefly that we had a hazmat issue out at Smokestown Road. I didn't include it in this report because I'm awaiting some more updated information as to what DEP and hazmat has informed the resident of that house where the spill was located, what they had to do. So I'll have a complete report for you probably at the next meeting on that particular item. But I'm happy to say, but
You have to wait for their report anyway, right?
correct, correct. I am happy to say that Smokestown Fire Department, Lancaster County Hazmat, and DEP were very prompt in responding when we discovered what was going on that day. By noon of that particular day, everybody was on scene taking care of the spill. Under some other items, I'll just highlight a couple of things here. 18 East Schwartzville Road. I sent the owners of that property a notice basically trying to confirm whether or not we have a group home in that facility. And we do. 2 residents and 2 managers. And I was alerted to that situation by the police department, who responded to that property because evidently the 2 managers had a disagreement at one time and were out on the front lawn duking it out. So I contacted the owners, I contacted the real estate agent that procured that whole situation with that residence, and they did supply the necessary state licensing and approvals to conduct a group home at that location. So now they're compliant, but as I said, it's been going on for quite a while, and we had no idea until the police brought it to my attention. 4 of the residents in the Morganshire development got notices from the township. They have a swale or maintenance. The maintenance of the swale, the stormwater facility in their rear yard, was not being maintained. They do have a homeowners association that should be taking care of that. Unfortunately, they weren't. I'm happy to say the homeowners are now taking care of the swale as part of their responsibility. Carriage Hill Development, as you all know, Landmark has purchased that remaining phase. They did receive a demolition permit to pull down the 4-bay garage that was on that site. They're prepping that construction entrance for the future completion of that. Township engineer and roadmaster and myself met out at 206 North Reedstown Road. There's a culvert there that needs to be repaired and an adjacent swale going through the private property. We met with the property owner there just to go through exactly what is expected by that property owner and what the township's responsibility is going to be in repairing that culvert pipe work. 326 Hill Road, to bring you up to speed, the house that was hit by a tree. They were clearing for a driveway on an adjacent property. I did issue a demolition permit for the old structure. They'll get credit for all of that impervious, all the impervious structures there, and the driveway relocation has started. The roadmaster and myself will be out on site hopefully tomorrow, if not Monday morning, to validate the site distance for that driveway so it is safe for that homeowner. And the plans for the new house are in my office. They should be issued shortly once we get it back from the building inspector. Other than that, everybody can see the garden spot frame and alignment property. Casey Kirchner and myself were just talking about how beautiful the grass looks on that site, and I don't know what seed they use, but we all want some of that. And they're doing very well. They're expected to have occupancy December, late November or late December.
They're actually ahead of schedule.
Yes, exactly. Exactly.
After what we went through.
Final paving should be coming up shortly, I believe, right, Casey? Hopefully next week, the final paving course will be in. I believe they were forming out something out towards the road today. I'm not sure if that's a meter pit or what that is, but they've got something going on there with some cement work. Yeah, they're doing a great job. Speedwell Construction is the company in charge of that one. And last but not least, we all see the Members First facility going up. They were putting up some trusses and things like that, doing a lot of the grading activity on the site and trying to get some of the stormwater routed correctly. We'll see how that goes, but they're moving along very well. They want to be in by the end of the year also. They've got all steel structure down below, and then they're putting up wood.
I say it's a good day with the wind.
Yeah, you're right. Anyway, that's my report. If you have any questions, I'll be happy to answer.
Anybody have any questions of Tony? Thank you, Tony.
One quick question.
Yeah.
Tony, we're going to prepare those plaques also, just like we did for Regis, same format.
Same format? Okay.
For, I guess it's going to be members first now coming up.
Correct.
And then garden spot
Garden
frame
spot.
alignment also.
Right.
So that, those are going to have to make their rounds for everyone to sign, the chief to sign,
I'll get those.
and the fire chiefs.
Okay, will do. Yes.
Thank you, Tony.
Yes. you're
Thanks.
welcome.
Treasurer's report.
Okay, a list of bills are as follows. We have a total general fund of $72,042.94. We have a total state fund of $3,823.89. Total light fund of $13,795.30. Total hydrant fund of $14,895. And a total recreation fund of $24,595. Questions? Hearing none, make a motion to approve the bills as presented.
I'll second the motion. Any comments or questions? All in favor, say aye. Opposed, no. Motion carried. Thank you. Land planning.
All right, so tonight I'm filling in for Fred Lee on behalf of Becker Engineering. I'm Casey Kirschner. First on our agenda is True Denver. We have a financial security reduction. As most of you know, the True Denver Hotel is the corner of Colonel Howard Boulevard, 272. Recently opened up in end of June, early July, I believe. They're working on, currently wrapping up the project, getting some of their punch list items completed. So October 11th, the owner contacted our office requesting a financial security reduction. We have not received as-bills yet. He was understanding that we have not received as-bills, so typically we can retain a certain amount for that. Based on our observation of the stormwater facilities and the on-site items, we were recommended a release of $371,462, which would result in the remaining security amount of $25,000. As that result, we would recommend a motion. That motion would be to authorize a $371,462 reduction in the current financial security being held by the township for the True Denver preliminary final land development plan, resulting in the remaining financial security being reduced to $25,000.
Anybody here representing that plan?
I'll make the motion.
I'll second. Any comments or questions? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Motion carried.
All right, the second one, we have Vol Martin, small stormwater management plan. That is up for conditional approval. This is a proposed dwelling, garage, and accessory structure on the driveway entrance and access off of Bluebird Lane, which is off of East Church Street, right as you cross underneath the 222 bridge towards Napersville area. Tony and Brent, the property owner, the design engineer, and the conservation district have been on site previously to work through a couple design ideas. We are still awaiting receipt of an MPDS permit and a couple of administrative items, but the plans are being worked through, and we feel as though it is ready for conditional approval. Therefore, I have a few motions, 6 motions on conditional approval. That would be the first motion to approve a waiver modification of section 183-23A2C of the Stormwater Management and Earth Disturbance Ordinance related to the infiltration area loading ratio to authorize a loading ratio of 11.1 to 1 as supported by the applicant's professional geologist.
Anybody here representing that plan? I'll make that motion.
I'll second.
Any comments or questions? All in favor, say aye. Opposed, no. Motion carried. Thank you.
Okay, the second motion will be to conditionally approve the Lowell and Caroline Martin Stormwater Management Plan, conditioned upon the applicant addressing all items outlined in the Becker Engineering LLC review email dated October 8, 2019, to the satisfaction of the township, township zoning officer, township engineer, and township solicitor.
I'll make that motion.
I'll second. Any comments or questions? All in favor, say aye. Opposed, no. Motion carried. Thank you.
All right, the third motion here tonight is to authorize the Board of Supervisors to sign the Improvement Guarantee Agreement, IGA, for for the Lowell and Carolyn Martin Stormwater Management Plan when signed by the applicant and provided in a form acceptable to township and township solicitor, along with the required financial security in the amount acceptable to the township engineer, and a form acceptable to township solicitor.
I would make that motion.
I'll second it. Any comments or questions? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Motion carried. Thank you.
Fourth motion for this project would be to authorize the Board of Supervisors to sign the stormwater maintenance and easement agreement related to the Lowell and Carolyn Martin Stormwater Management Plan and executed by the applicant and submitted to the township in a form acceptable to the township solicitor.
I'll make that motion.
I'll second that.
Any comments or questions? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Motion carried. Thank you.
And the final motion for this project would be to authorize signature of the Lowell and Carolyn Martin Stormwater Management Plan by the Board of Supervisors upon the applicant adequately resolving all conditions of plan approval to the satisfaction of the township zoning officer, township engineer, and township solicitor.
I'll make that motion.
No second. Any comments or questions? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Motion carried. Thank you.
Okay, the third project on my list is the Curtis Weaver Stormwater Management Plan. The board had previously approved numerous motions similar as we just went through on their October 3rd meeting. This subject property is located along Hahnstown Road. You can go here on your way to Ephrata. The applicant is proposing to install a barn, an additional feedlot, dwelling addition, and to remove an existing barn. Small or stormwater basin incorporated in that project. So on behalf of that, we have recently received a financial security amount and opinion of probable cost. Therefore, we recommend the following motion. That motion would be to acknowledge the required amount of financial security be established with the township on the 490 Hahnstown Road, Curtis Weaver Stormwater Management Plan in the amount of $26,283.70 per the approved opinion of probable cost prepared by Pioneer Management dated October 11, 2019.
Anybody representing this? Okay, I'll make that motion.
I'll second.
Any comments or questions? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Motion carried. Thank you.
And that is all on my agenda.
Thank you, Casey.
Thanks, Casey.
Thanks, Casey.
Okay. 1925 North Reading Road, listing contract renewal. What's the wish of the board? We've had it with this realtor
Right,
for years.
2 years. Yeah.
What's the, I didn't get a chance to read this, what's the length of the extension? Is it 1 year?
April 30th. Yeah, it's 1 year.
1 year.
April 30th, 2020 done.
Well, we've got some action on it, so I would make a motion to extend the contract for another year.
Second that.
Any comments or questions? I don't think he's here tonight.
No, he's not. Nope.
Okay, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Motion carried. Thank you.
Who's that?
Who seconded that?
I seconded it.
Yeah.
And if Doug made it, yeah, okay. Collective bargaining agreement. With the public works department.
Oh, we're going to pass on that. They just got the clean version of that, and they would like to take that to their solicitor for review. So that will be in the next meeting, Jim.
Okay. We're not doing.
Oh, no,
Okay.
postpone it till the next meeting.
Okay. Ordinance 219-11, police pension.
This is an ordinance amending the pension plan applicable to the uniformed employees, which is our police department, brought forth by an update to their death benefits section of article number 5, their survivor annuity. The original action was approved by motion on March 17, 2016, and this ordinance here ratifies that and approves it. So,
I'll make a motion we adopt ordinance number 2019-11.
I'll second that.
Any comments or questions? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Motion carried. Resolution 2019-17, Blue Ridge Cable Franchise Agreement. This is the extension of that franchise.
Settlement term.
I'll go ahead and make that motion.
Okay.
Accept that the way it is.
I'll second the motion. Any comments or questions? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Motion carried. Thank you.
It's 2019-17, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Sturdyville Road vacation, vacancy.
Quit claim deed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We're not going on a vacation.
Not really.
You're not.
This is where the road with.
10-foot wide portion of the right of way vacated.
Yeah, because it was excessive.
Correct.
And this facilitates them expansion.
So,
Need a motion?
I'll make a motion that we go ahead with this road vacation.
I'll second it. Any comments or questions? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Motion carried. Thank you. Farlow Communication Phone System Maintenance Agreement for next year.
This is an increase of $646 over last year, but they are giving us 5 extra hours of service. Last year we had 10 hours of service and we did go over that. So they're tacking on another 5 hours. So it's an additional $646 for a total amount of $1,910.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm fine. Everything seems to be working all right.
Yeah.
Yeah, we haven't had any issues.
I'll make a motion we adopt the agreement for next year with Farlow Communication for $1,910.
I'll second that motion.
Any comments or questions? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Motion carried. Thank you. National Fish Wildlife Federation grant application.
Yes,
This
this
is
is,
Mr. Boucher.
yes, this is part of our continuing MS4 stormwater work. What the project is about is doing some stream restoration over on Little Cocalico Creek, kind of along the edge of Denver Borough, west of Reinhold's Road. We are applying for a grant from that foundation, and the grant we're applying for is the amount of $200,000. And there is a 30% match requirement that we had discussed, and the recommendation is that match requirement come out of the funds that have been budgeted in 2019 for such things in MS4. And suspect we should have a motion authorizing that. The funds were already budgeted, but what we're doing is we're using that as part of the requirement to get the grant, and also making that match in cash also gives us a better chance of getting the grant. If for some reason we didn't get the grant, what that money is being used for is the preliminary design work that will get us up to the point when we get the money, we can actually just go ahead and start the project. And so if we don't get this grant, we will continue looking for other grants, because they keep popping up periodically. I think it makes good sense to do it that way.
So we need a motion to authorize the grant.
I'll make the motion.
I'll second that.
Any comments or questions? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Motion carried. Thank you. Old business, MS4 discussion updates. Ken, anything more?
Yeah, we just did the quarterly report on our Drawing Greener grant, which is the stream restoration project in the Reamstown Municipal Park, the area by the Reamstown Pool. And there has been some initial design work done by land studies. We have a plan showing what's being proposed there, so that the design work is underway. We had received a grant of, I believe it's $45,000 from the Growing Greener Fund to fund the design work and permitting for that project. And sometime, possibly in the next couple of weeks, that the next round of that grant will come up, and since they've already funded the design work for us, it's quite likely that they will fund the construction work in the tune of about $250,000.
Very good, thank you. Any questions of Ken? Thank you, Ken. Fire Department Working Group discussion update.
The update that we have right now is we have received documents from all three of our fire companies, from Reamstown, from Smokestown, and Stevens. Our next steps are we will be reviewing those internally, taking a look at what's there, seeing if that's the data that we requested, and then we will, once we review that and see if that's the data that we actually requested, then we'll decide when we have that next meeting, so that we can review it with the three chiefs and then discuss next steps.
Thank you.
Okay?
Yeah, I was just looking at the Reamstown, I just glanced at it today, and it's amazing how many different things they get into. And I just went down the list and rated the top 10. There was 514 incidents rated on this one sheet, incident type. And out of those, 421 took up the top 10. The number one issue was vehicle accident, 164 of those. I mean, it's awakening when you read this and you see what all they get involved with. And you just think the fire company shows up at the fire scene. There's a whole lot of other things that these people get involved with that I don't think a lot of people understand. But it's amazing that 82% of their calls were on 10 out of about 30 items. So, you know, when you get to see it on paper like that, it becomes more aware, it makes you aware of what's going on. So, thanks again, appreciate that. It's a lot of reading, and I'm sure it's a lot to put together, but Romeo said we're going to digest all that and move forward.
I think some of that should be put in the newsletter too. Okay, thank you. New business. We need to authorize Mr. Goodman, our solicitor, to proceed with an ordinance revision to give proper notices, advertisement in order to hold a public hearing for ordinance adoption related to LRTA.
But basically what that is throughout the process, in the current ordinance, it references our zoning map, and we've since had changes to that zoning map, so we want to remove that reference altogether. So this is just notification for him to move forward.
Just given, so I'll make that motion.
I'll second. Go ahead.
I'll second that.
Any comments or questions? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Motion carried. Public comment, non-agenda items. Please state your name if you have any comments. Announcements. Next Tuesday at the Denver Borough Hall, there'll be a Cocalico Leaders Meeting at 7 o'clock. And our next supervisor meeting will be November 7th here at 7. Looking for a motion to adjourn.
Just to, in case you're not aware of it, I'm sure most of you are, and I don't need to go into it.
No, go
That
ahead.
regional leaders meeting, that's representatives from Denver Borough, East Cocalico Township, West Cocalico Township, Adamstown, the school district, and the police departments. So if you want to go hear what's going on in the other 2-3 entities, there's the place to be. Okay? Just information gathering. I'm sorry.
Don't be, thank you.
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
I'll second the motion.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Motion, thank you.
Oh, it's better if we got a piece of